Welcome back to the channel today, guys, and we had an extremely good episode of Mob Psycho today, where the tension just kept building and building the whole time. We were only in one place the whole episode, the Divine Tree, and I still think it was probably the best episode of this season, as Mob is faced with the reality of the situation that he's in, that Dimple may not have been his friend the whole time. Which is kind of wild, because Dimple's been with us since the beginning of the show. So, this episode I thought was fantastic. So let's just get straight into it, honestly. I really want to talk about it. It's a very dialogue-heavy episode, so strap yourself in, guys. Grab some popcorn as we talk about Mob Psycho 100, Season 3, Episode 5 today. Now, literally right off the bat, we get immediately into it in today's episode, as Mob's approaching the Divine Tree, as he was in our previous episode, as Dimple says, "Everyone is acknowledging that you are the first founder and looking at you." Mob says, "Who are you? Are you Psycho Helmet-san?" As he continues and says, "How do you like all that clapping and cheering you've never experienced before? Doesn't it feel great?" And of course, Mob tells him, "No, not at all." As Mob tells him, "Let's talk face to face. I'm at the foot of the broccoli now." And it's here that Dimple poses him a question of, have you ever strongly believed in something? As he continues and says, "The aggregation of powerful belief can sometimes manifest into reality. A great change is about to happen in this world. A new god named Psycho Helmet is going to take physical form and ascend. I'm going to claim that Psycho Helmet is the reincarnation of their great creator. I will lead the people down the right path and give their hearts peace. Just pray 5 minutes a day towards the Divine Tree. That becomes my sustenance." He continues and says, "You look like you have something you want to say. But look, the believers are all having a great time too." As Mob's explosion meter goes up as he sees Hanazawa strapped to the wall, as Dimple says, "Whoops, he was an exception though. He figured me out before anyone else and tried to shut all this down first. In the end, the ones who have the most fun win." And Mob's looking pissed off as he sees Dimple finally comes and approaches him. And Dimple, man, these episodes have really shown us that Dimple, we might not have known who he really was this whole time. Like, he's been playing Mob the whole time in the show. It's kind of wild. These episodes are really showcasing that. Maybe we all didn't know Dimple as good as we thought we did too. He tells Mob, "Don't be mad. Hanazawa's fine. But more importantly, join the Psycho Helmet religion. You and I can stand at the top and have a blast together." Mob asks him why. "By the looks of it, you're already powerful enough." Dimple says that you still have potential to grow. "Looking at the future, I figured it'd be a waste not to take advantage of that power." As Mob refuses his offer right then and there. But Dimple says, "Your family, your friends, and everyone else already live in a world where they experience happiness through their faith in Psycho Helmet-sama. You're the only one left behind in this city, Shigeo. No one's ever coming back. How long are you going to be stubborn?" Mob says, "They're just being brainwashed by you. You're the one who needs to give up." Dimple literally says, "You mad, bro?" As Mob says, "Of course I'm mad." As Mob asks him, "How are you able to control everyone, even Reagan?" As Dimple goes into his plan that the first stage was to have them touch the Divine Tree, or have them ingest a bit of it somehow. "I got into their minds through physical contact. The second stage was to expose the few left behind to the passion of the masses. That's how I got to Reagan too. He was overwhelmed by his surroundings. And now we've entered the third stage. That strong feeling of faith transmits from one person to another. It's only a matter of time until everyone in the country believes in Psycho Helmet. Then I'll truly become a new god." As Mob tells him, "That's enough. Just undo the brainwashing, Dimple." As he counters and says, "You keep calling it brainwashing, but it's actually not that bad. It's not like I changed any of their personalities, much less their hobbies or the things they like. The way everyone feels about you isn't going to change. You're all just going to become followers of the Psycho Helmet religion. You'll feel happiness in that and be able to share that happiness with other believers. I'm not trying to exclude you from the fun here. And it's here in this scene that Mob starts realizing that Dimple is completely serious in this, and he's not going to be able to talk him out of it. As Mob finally loses his patience and frees Hanazawa right here. As he says, Dimple, you're playing dirty. You're controlling people's hearts with your power. That means they can't defy you and you can make them do whatever you want. Dimple says, should I not listen to you? Aren't you just going to resort to violence? Mob tells him, sure, but I don't have a choice. Believe it or not, I'm restraining myself quite a bit right now. But all of a sudden, Hanazawa tries to stop Mob and says what Dimple's doing isn't exactly evil. As he says, think about it rationally. If you choose violence just because you don't agree with him, it's over. Mob tells him no, there's still time to stop him. The Psycho Helmet religion still hasn't officially begun yet. But Hanazawa tells him no, if you put your hands on him, it's all over. Your relationship with Dimple, along with our friendship, will all be over. If you're going to forcefully tear apart the Psycho Helmet religion, I'm going to stop you. Even if you defeat me, your little brother and Reagan aren't going to let you get away with this. Eventually, everyone will stand in your way. As his explosion meter goes up again, Dimple tells him, I told you, even if you don't do anything, everyone's daily lives, but Mob's had enough and he just destroys Dimple's body right then and there. And Mob is getting super pissed as he says, Dimple, come out. I want to talk to you face to face. Hanazawa starts freaking out like if you're going to harm the Psycho Helmet religion or the Divine Tree, as he grabs Mob and chucks him into the air, sending him flying. And they end up clashing with each other. But Dimple tells him, unfortunately for you, I'm not even controlling him. As Mob's explosion meter goes up again and he tells him, I'm sorry, as he freezes him in place to incapacitate him. But it's not so easy as Hanazawa breaks free and comes back down. And Dimple says, those who believe are blessed with divinity. And because of that, Hanazawa has godly powers right now. As he actually slams Mob into the ground to one of the bottom floors of the Divine Tree. And Mob's looking a little rough down in that hole. As Dimple tells him, Shigeo, if you let the Divine Tree's roots embrace you and calm down, you'll change your mind too. And as Mob's down there, he realizes that these roots are dangerous. I have to get out of here. As he unleashes a giant blast of psychic energy, sending Hanazawa flying outside of the Divine Tree. And now it's just between Mob and Dimple as they start fighting with each other. And guys, like I've told you before, that when Mob Psycho wants to do a fight scene, they really do a fight scene as Mob is just decimating all the Dimples in front of him. And it's an emotional fight, actually, as Mob asks him, why, Dimple? Why won't you show yourself to me? Are you scared of me? As Dimple just keeps throwing more and more people at Mob as he just continues to decimate them. As his explosion meter just keeps on rising progressively. As Mob says, enough. That's enough. Don't make me feel like this. As we see that Mob is seriously hurt having to do something like this. And Dimple doesn't realize that they've formed a bond with each other over the course of these seasons. And he's kind of throwing it away right now for what, a stupid goal? And Mob is really hurt because of that. And as the fighting continues, Mob is starting to wear down and get tired. His powers are getting drained by the Divine Tree. As Dimple says, it was a mistake to let yourself be lured into the Divine Tree. As he actually traps Mob and finally reveals his true form to him. As he says, if you're not going to listen to me, I might just get her to tell you. If I have Tsubami convince you, maybe you'll finally cool off a bit. Mob gets furious hearing that and breaks out of the constraints. As Dimple tells him, Mob, you seriously do not have a chance with her. But now, she's also part of the Psycho Helmet religion. meaning you might just be able to win her over as the great founder, Shigeo. And he's really toying with Mob at this point. This is such a low blow to do to Mob. He's really trying everything he can to convince him to be on his side. And Mob's getting pissed as he just starts literally smacking Dimple around, like beating the shit out of his ghost. As Dimple grabs him and says, "This is how you repay my kindness? I guess I'm gonna have to get serious too." As he unleashes all the power that he's absorbed, and he says, "Watch closely. This is the newly, happily reborn God Dimple." He looks ridiculous, dude. He looks so dumb. And Mob just looks at him and says, "So what?" As the explosion meter continues to rise. As their fight continues, and he really is throwing Mob around, honestly, beating him everywhere as the explosion meter rises yet again. But Mob just looks more and more angry instead of hurt as the fight is going on. As Dimple just continues to beat on him mercilessly. He says, "I'm very aware, Shigeo, that this isn't enough to beat you." And he thinks to himself, but you should be at your limit soon. The tremendous power that was sucked from him is flowing into me through the divine tree. As he says, "I saw the limit of his powers when he fought Claw's boss. His power isn't endless, it's finite. He's not invincible. I know how to defeat Kageyama Shigeo more than any." As Mob says, "That's your true form? That's your true identity? You can't be serious. Then you shouldn't be holding back. Your powers, your actions, your words, they're all fake. Don't try to convince me that's the real Dimple. It doesn't suit you. I won't allow it. I won't accept it." As Dimple gets pissed, saying, "Who the hell do you think you are? You won't accept it. Don't go casually denying the thing I've wanted so badly." As he launches a huge attack at Mob. But Mob's not hurt as Dimple says, "Wait a minute. I can feel his rage. That bastard, he still had this much power left?" As Mob says, "That one was actually surprising. I might have almost died. A little more and I might really lose all faith in you." As we see his face and he looks like he's done playing games as he says, "I just want to know how you really feel. Say something, Dimple." As Dimple tells him that, "I've been trying to take advantage of you from the start." As Mob says, "That makes me sad. So, is this goodbye, Dimple?" As Dimple tries to charge at him and end this. But the shockwave actually blew Mob's shirt off, and we get to see that ridiculous monkey shirt he's wearing. Hanazawa still did him dirty with that. I still stand by that. Even Dimple's like, "Holy shit, that shirt is lame." And that was the final straw that broke the camel's back. Because Mob is at 100% now as our episode ends. And this was a very good episode of Mob Psycho. It was all action and dialogue. We were in the Divine Tree the entire episode, but we really broke down Mob and Dimple's relationship in this episode. Where it is now, where Mob wants it to be, and where Dimple wants it to be. I thought this was a very great episode. And I can't wait to see what happens next week. It feels kind of weird though, because we're not even in the middle of the season yet it feels like we're having like a final confrontation kind of fight. Like, where are we going to go from here, I wonder? Like, are they just going to go their separate ways and the Psycho Helmet religion are still going to be a thing? I can't see that happening. So if he takes him out, if Mob takes him out in the next episode, where do we go from here the rest of our season? I'm very curious to know where we go. And I think you guys are too. So let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. Because right now, we don't know. But this was a great episode of Mob Psycho. I was honestly enthralled the whole time. It kept me interested the entire episode. And for that, that's just one of the reasons why Mob Psycho is such a great series. On an emotional and even an action standpoint when it wants to be. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year. And yeah, just Don't get a friend like Dimple, man. Don't you get a friend like Dimple. That's all I gotta say. But until then, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.